All right, Bucky, let's talk pass rushers here, and let's talk some of the best guys we've seen come out over the last few years, really go back a decade or so here. And we look at grades we had on players coming out, not what they would become in the NFL, but the grades that we had coming out. I thought we'd take 5 big-time guys and just kind of show folks where they were slotted when we compare them together. Let's start number 5 here on the list, and it's the reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
Here we go, Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack coming out of Buffalo. Outstanding talent. Love the aggressiveness, the physicality, the athleticism. You wondered a little bit about the small school competition. Would he be able to translate his dominance at the next level? He has answered that question in spades. Physical at the point of attack. You alluded to winning the Defensive Player of the Year last year. He is a guy that is terrific. He has exceeded expectations. That's hard to do when you're the 4th overall pick in a draft.
Yeah, and again, we're using Myles Garrett as a reference point here in this little game to see where Myles Garrett stacks up in this group of players. Khalil Mack comes in at number 5. At number 4, Bucky, a guy that's coming off of an injury, but, man, he was a good player in college. He has been a great player in the NFL, and that's the Houston Texans' J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, kind of changing how we think about that position. Inside, a guy that is dominant, terrific power, explosiveness, great hand skills, can line up anywhere along that front line and make his presence felt. He has been someone, you talk about being drafted outside of the top 10, but emerging as one of the transcendent stars at his position. J.J. Watt has been a terrific pro.
Yeah, when healthy, the most dominant defensive player in the NFL. So we haven't heard Myles Garrett's name yet, meaning we had a higher grade coming out on Myles Garrett than we did on J.J. Watt. We did on Khalil Mack. Let's see who rolls in at number 3. And I think, well, there he is. We've got Myles Garrett rolling in at number 3 on our list when we look at the college grades, Bucky. And this is somebody we've talked a lot about during this draft process. But you see the speed, you see the length, you see the explosiveness. He can create speed to power when he wants to widen guys. He can take over a football game when he wants to.
He absolutely can take over a football game. And the crazy thing about Myles Garrett is he hasn't even really tapped into how good he can be because he doesn't even really use his hands as a pass rusher. Once he refines his technique and learns how to be a combat specialist, he's going to be someone that continues to always get 10, 12, 13, 14 sacks a year off the edge. Exactly what you expect for a guy that should be the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, it shows we have big grades on him to have him in this neighborhood here. But a guy that we had a higher grade on than Myles Garrett, and one that's coming to the league just recently. You see right here, this play we saw 5 billion times in the run-up to that draft, and that's Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney has lived up to the hype, finally beginning to play like the guy that we saw on tape at South Carolina early in his career. Athletic freak, just runs over offensive tackles off the edge, has a natural athleticism and snap to him that sets him apart from others. We saw him go to his first Pro Bowl. When he gets back and he's able to team up with J.J. Watt, he could be a dominating force off the other side for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, Clowney, nice, emotional there. I forgot about that in that draft class there. Man, I tell you what, it all came on. The light came on for him this year, stayed healthy, and we saw the player that we saw in college. All right, now the player we had the highest grade on, though, we got to go back a little ways here, and that's somebody that our Charlie Casserly picked with the 1st overall pick back in the day.
Super Mario Williams, very impressive when you watch the college tape. You just don't see athletes his size with that kind of athleticism and polished skill. He hasn't necessarily been the transcendent star that we thought he would be, but coming out, it was hard to argue that he wasn't worthy of being the number 1 overall pick. That's why he sits at the top of our board.
I want to say the first $100 million contract, too, in the NFL. He got paid a bunch of money.
He got paid. Certainly dominated during his time at the end of his run with Houston, then for a few years in Buffalo. He showed that he could be a guy that could take over games single-handedly.
I'll tell you what, though, that was a really, really good football player in college, and it looked like, you look back in time, Charlie Casserly made the right decision because there was a lot of pressure. Vince Young, Reggie Bush in that draft, he got the right guy there.
Got the guy that he wanted.
In Mario Williams.